Oh, I know. Hey, bring your chair.
Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Oh, come on. There's coffee, there's sugar. Good morning. Thank you, those few of you in the community who aren't in Texas. We appreciate you coming this morning. My name is Brett Doney with the Great Falls Development Authority, and this is my favorite event of the year because it's all about investors who are voting with their checkbooks and either starting new businesses, expanding businesses, or undertaking real estate or institutional projects in Great Falls and our surrounding trade area, which encompasses the entire Golden Triangle, north central Montana. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me this morning. Jolene is not available due to COVID in her network. She doesn't have it, but she can't be there. So we'll muddle through and have a great time. This is our first hybrid event of Ignite. So we're going to try this, and we have Marty Severson with Severson Productions who's helping us out. Thank you, Marty. So I think it'll go well. We have some presenters here, and we have some presenters who are going to do it remotely. So feel free, we're very informal. Feel free to get up. We've got great food from the country club. We've got plenty of coffee. Restrooms are up the stairs or down the stairs. So this is going to go long, which is what we want, because we're only giving each presenter 3 to 5 minutes. But we have 21, at last count, 23 presenters, which is absolutely fantastic because they're all making very significant investments in our market in 2022. So it's going to be a great morning. First off, I want to thank Payne West Insurance, who are our sponsors of this event, allows us to offer it for free for everyone. And I would like to invite Kara Picano to come up. Kara, did I mispronounce your name? Well, at least I got that. I won't do that anymore this morning, I'm sure.
It's Picano.
Picano.
Yeah, you were close. You were close. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank you for being here today. And I also want to thank everybody who is attending via Zoom too. You know, we've been a sponsor of this for numerous years now, and what is exciting is when you're driving through Great Falls, we get to see the projects that are developed, whether it's a new business expansion within the community, somebody having a second location. So that's been very nice for us. If you just think about it, every time you drive through Great Falls, the growth that we've had, which is very exciting. With Payne West, you know, we're excited to be here. We also take a lot of pride in helping our clients with the expansion and growing their businesses. But the one thing that is really impacting our businesses today, which everybody thinks about insurance and they think about the auto and the general liability, and they think about the fires and the stuff that you would typically see, the weather related losses, but is what is affecting our clients in almost every business, and it doesn't matter if you're small, large business, is the cyber liability. So we've put together a little presentation and a video about the cyber liability because it's very important and it's impacting everybody, and it's really happening to our clients in Montana and Great Falls. So we got this quick little video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking, so I'll save you with that, and we can go on to our other 23 presentations. But with that, I'll go ahead and start the video, and I just want to thank you for being here today.
Payne West Insurance is sure proud to sponsor this event this year and every year that we have. This year, though, it gives us an opportunity to bring up a subject that we think is really important. It's a discussion we're having with a lot of our clients, and that's cyber. Over the last 18 months with COVID, we've become more reliant on technology, transferring data electronically than we ever have before. And what we're noticing is a huge uptick in cyber breaches, ransomware, data loss, and it's something that each business, no matter what size you are, should be talking about.
We hear it a lot out there that, hey, this won't happen to me. That's a tough way to run a business in today's environment because of the actual intensity with which we're seeing cyber attacks.
There's a lot of things that we do to try to prevent attacks, and some of it's just training of our colleagues. It's sending out samples of what a phishing email would look like, but it's not always just phishing. Sometimes they're getting in other ways. But we're trying to train them in every way possible just to help prevent the risk.
I think a lot of companies think that threat actors just steal your data, and in a lot of cases that we see, they actually lock it down to the point where you are unable to even do everyday business functions. How do you communicate with your employees? How are you processing payroll? How do you communicate with your own clients? Real things that you do every day that you take for granted, and they found a way to prevent you from doing that.
If you're a business owner, if you're looking at your organization, what would it mean to you to be shut down for 3 or 4 or 5 days or even weeks potentially? What would that mean to your ability to work with your clients? And so that is another reason and another purpose behind why we work so hard with our insureds to look at products that can address those kind of issues.
At Payne West Insurance, we love insurance. It's what we do. But one thing that we're even more passionate about is making sure that our clients and our business partners throughout our community are taken care of properly. And cyber is one of those it's very, very important for every company to take a look at. And whether you do business with Payne West Insurance or another agency, I just encourage you to understand what plan could you have in place now. What coverages should you have in place to bring a team to surround you in the moments that matter, in the oh crap moments, if you will, when you realize that the risk in front of you could actually spell catastrophe for your company.
Let's give Payne West a hand for sponsoring our event this morning. Thank you, Kara. First, I'd like to bring up from Malmstrom Air Force Base, Colonel Dan Voorhees.
2 to 3 minutes. We've got a lot of stuff going on base this year and well into the future, right? So on base, we're gonna doing something weird. Looks like about 84 million next year that we're going to be spending just on construction projects. Some of that's in-house, but most of that is outside. It's not flipping. If you want to hit next slide, that'd be great. Okay, that's where the projects are going to be. But really what I wanted to talk to you guys about is GBSD. So when you talked about investment into the Great Falls community, what I can say is the Air Force, the Department of Defense, the nation is investing with GBSD into the community, and you're looking at 2075. I don't know where most of you are going to be in 2075. I'm very confident where I'm going to be in 2075. Some of you may still be around. There's some young ones over here at the table that are very healthy, but some of us won't be here. 2075 is a long ways off. That is a huge investment into this community that is going to lock down for a sizable period of time. It is a major project. They call it a mega project. Sounds cooler, I guess. But the big piece is it is going to be stuff out in the missile field across the state of Montana, but it will also be on base. So on base facilities, these are just some of them. These are the bigger projects that are on base. So you're looking at a training facility, a new security forces trainer, consolidated maintenance facility, another maintenance facility, integrated command center, which is a new concept for us, and then a missile handling complex along with other stuff. That's where those buildings would be going. There's a lot, like I said, lots of things, lots of people. We're also getting a new WGF, which is weapons generation facility, which is going to be starting in 24. And then, so basically starting in 24 through 33, there will be significant construction going on base and out in the field so that we will have a safe, secure, and effective nuclear deterrent until 2075 or whenever you die. On that positive note, I'm going to hand it over to the guard.
I don't have any slides, so I don't need this. I'm also not going to talk about stuff when we die in 2075, but I can talk about something that's happening this year. So rumor mill, people are hearing about a potential open house air show. Well, that is a very real thing. July of this year, the Montana Air National Guard teamed up with Malmstrom Air Force Base and the 341st Missile Wing. We're hosting the open house, which in other terms is the air show. July this year, more details to follow. The team is working diligently. What I can already announce is the Air Force Thunderbirds will be there. There'll be a couple historical assets there. There'll be the new F-35 Lightning static display, multiple displays. The Army will have some tanks there. Don't know why they think they're important enough. I'm just kidding. Love the Army as well. But lots of good things coming. The team is going to have a big meeting early next week to get out a lot more details so that we can start pushing more information out to the city of Great Falls and the whole state of Montana so that we have a really nice big summer family event. That is all I have to really say on the guard side. We're just happy to be part of the state and really kick butt for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you don't know, that's Major Juan Torres. Let's give him another hand. So I could ask all the presenters who are here, if you're not on the stage, you're not on camera. So if you could come up here for those who are zooming in. Next up, Commissioner Joe Briggs, Cascade County.
Well, good morning, everybody. Appreciate your being here, and I really appreciate the projects that are all going to be spoken about today. You know, government doesn't create jobs. We don't create economic value. We utilize it. But what we can do is create a positive environment for entrepreneurs and businesses to thrive. So that's our goal at Cascade County. Make it easier for you to create jobs. And we try to do that in 3 ways. Number one, which I think is important, is we are the largest contributor to Great Falls development because this is how we build our future. So thank you for your contributions and ongoing support of GFDA. The other thing The other things we do is infrastructure. It's very difficult for you to build jobs and businesses without infrastructure. So some of the things we're doing this year, Black Eagle Road will be paved to its completion. That will give us finally the paved loop that surrounds the Great Bear Innovation Park and the North Park industrial area. Armington Bridge will be replaced. We'll be overlaying the roads and streets in Sims, Black Eagle, and of course, we'll continue the upgrades to the Expo Park that we started when we were shut down for COVID. We still have several $100,000 worth of additional things we're doing over there. That's about $7.8 million that we'll be spending on those normal projects. We are also kicking up our IT systems. During the course of the year, we'll be bringing online access to our GIS assets. So if you're working on a project and at 2 o'clock in the morning need a map, you'll be able to get it online. You won't have to wait till the office opens the next morning. Similarly, we're creating a county-wide document system so that all county documents will be available to the public and to our staff at all hours online. And we're moving to an online permitting system. So any of the permits that can be done over the counter that don't require a public hearing, you'll now be able to get those online. You won't have to come down to the office. Once again, that'll make life easier on those of you who are developing projects. So those are major ways that we are working to make life easier for your development. Then of course, there's the ARPA funding. Some of the projects you're gonna see later today are projects that the county will be assisting with this one-time money, because we have about $15.8 million that has come in from the federal government. One-time money that you have to use to make lasting impacts. So we will be leveraging that money into the private sector to help things get kicked off. You'll see things like massive water and sewer upgrades in Black Eagle, Sims, Belt, Cascade, Centerville, Vaughan, and Gore Hill. We are working on some housing issues. We're working on some job training issues. And my favorite, we are going to try to fix some of the internet problems in Cascade County, because we've got some areas that have lousy service. And that includes both the ARPA funds, and we are in line for we don't know if we got it yet, for a $33 million NTIA grant that I put in for that will allow us to build a new middle mile carrier that's open access. So thank you again for everything you do. Let me know if there's something the county can do to make development easier, and let's just start kicking ass.
Thank you, Joe. Lillian Sunwall on our team, give a cheer for Black Eagle Road. She's been working on that for about a decade and a half. I think Joe's been working on it for 2 decades. So yeah, only feels like it. Next up, John Faulkner with the Great Falls International Airport.
Well, thanks, Brett, and good morning, everybody. Hey, I've got a couple slides that I'll get to in a second, but I know on top of mind right now is ticket pricing and Minneapolis flights. Talking to Delta, Minneapolis, they still plan to bring it back. They just don't know when. They're really struggling in the West. You probably saw they dropped a number of markets in the fall completely, and they're still trying to figure out how to get enough regional pilots in that market. The real solution to that, what we're seeing in the other markets in Montana, is more traffic and mainline planes. And so what we've got to do is make that transition over to mainline aircraft. You probably saw just before Christmas, United has put in quite a bit more capacity. They've got about 10% more capacity in January because they're upgrading the flight to a larger aircraft. But by the time we get to April, we'll have 2 larger aircraft a day, and there'll also be a 3rd flight that they're adding February 10th. So their April capacity is actually 90% more capacity than we had in 2019 prior to pandemic. So they're making a big investment here in Great Falls. They're talking about a mainline aircraft by summer on that Denver route. So some pretty exciting things happening there. The other thing I was going to mention, you may have heard already, we're partnering with Dick Anderson to do a condo warehouse development up next to the county jail. So here shortly, in a few months, we're going to be breaking ground on a new program or new project up there, where we're going to have some large metal buildings, and you'll be able to buy stalls in those, basically buy a small warehouse slot in those buildings, and have a 30 by 40 or 30 by 80 space to conduct business. And you can actually buy multiples and have a much larger building up to about 120 square feet or 120 linear feet along the front of it. And so you'll be hearing more about that as we get into permitting this spring, but a pretty exciting development and something I think we really need in the market for those small businesses that, particularly on the industrial side, they're looking for some space. Joe talked a little bit about ARPA money. We got some ARPA money too. And what we plan to do with it is some modernization on the building. You can see here, I think this thing's got a pointer. Basically what we'll be doing is pulling out the 1970s windows and upgrading those with something more efficient, getting rid of some of that heavy concrete work on the front. We'll be wrapping other parts of the building with a metal cladding to provide some insulation. That concrete bleeds heat in the summer, and also in the winter we get the cold coming through. So what you see here is a cladding system that'll cover up most of the existing concrete on the front of the building. Some new signage programs in there to try and get the building modernized a little bit. Something we think will really help make the building a little more attractive, update the look of it. So that we plan, that'll probably start next year, but we're going to be doing the design work, quite a bit of design work this year to get that project started. Give you a couple ideas what that's going to look like just day and night. The other big project, and you'll actually see some construction on this summer. When you come in today, the ticket counters are right here. They're only 25 feet from the front door. So some of you standing in the Delta line have probably been snowed on when somebody comes in the outer door. We're going to recess those doors back, those ticket counters back about 25, 30 feet. And basically everything behind that gets recessed back. A few years ago when we expanded the back of the building, this is the new back line of the building. We'll be enclosing that. And now we'll have an automated baggage system in here in this space that'll pick up the bags from the ticket counter, go back there through screening and get them out to the airlines. A much more efficient way to do baggage should improve our turn times, but then also we'll have quite a bit more capacity in here for the future for ticket queuing without plugging up the walkway. In addition, we're creating 3 or 4 spaces down here at the end. Those spaces will be for future airlines. One of the things, and I think Shane's probably here somewhere, but one of the things we're working on with the chamber is a low-cost airline initiative. We're trying to put together a community initiative right now. There's an opportunity for matching money probably in February or early March from the government that would double our money. And we have letters of commitment from American and also from United for additional flights if we can put together a community incentive. They're both interested in supporting that grant and potentially bringing in new flights. And that would really make a substantial change in our airfares. So if you're not involved already with the low fare initiative, we just encourage you to get involved with that. There just isn't new air service for the last 10 years. There isn't new air service being started in communities without financial guarantees. Airports can't do financial guarantees, but communities can. And so that's a really important program. We hope you'll all support in the new year. That's all I've got.
Thank you, John. Okay, now we're going to try our first presenter online. Let's welcome Samantha Kopish with Great Falls Clinic Hospital.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for allowing this online alternative. I'm hoping that you can all hear me and possibly see me as well as the screen. So the first project I want to talk about is the surgery center expansion that we have, and you can go to the next slide. So it's kind of hard to tell if you're not familiar with our surgery center here, but we are expanding it. We're adding a $7 million project to this facility here. The main components that we're adding is the addition of 5-bed observation unit, as well as an OR, an expansion in our waiting area. So everything to the left of the brick on this building is new, along with the entire back side of the building. A lot of this we're able to do because of Dick Anderson and LPW. So I also want to recognize their help. They've been vital with this expansion. So this project will be completed by May of 2022. So we're excited for that. This will allow us to open up our hospital a little bit more for those higher level of acuity patients that we've been seeing, especially with COVID. And so then next I'll talk about, oh, and this is the floor plan. I wasn't sure if they would include this in here. It went over my 5-slide minimum, but all of the colored areas, the green on the left is all new. And then the bottom row, all the yellow and the blue right there is also new too. So that's just kind of a visual. And then we'll jump to the hospital expansion. So again, if you're not familiar with the Great Falls Clinic Hospital, this probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but this whole left image here with this tower type 3 structure level is all new. This is a $56 million project that we're hoping to kick off this year in partnership with also LPW and Dick Anderson Construction as well. So what happens with this new hospital expansion, we're adding a 3rd floor, which is new to us. We're also adding a critical care unit, a cath lab suite. So this will allow us to take care of more of those cardiac patients, the higher level of acuity. We've seen a lot of that increase with COVID. This also includes an expansion on our lab services. We're also expanding the West Addition, which you can't really see in this image, but the emergency room will also have a new entrance, additional admin support, things like that, and then 2 ORs, which will allow us to operate and have more surgical cases in this building. You can advance to the next slide. So this is just kind of a different view. As you can see, the entrance hasn't changed, but this whole wing on the left is all new. So this does take away some of our parking, which that project has already been completed. We've added additional parking in the back of our specialty center to accommodate that as well. You can advance to the next slide. Okay, so these are just the towers. They're probably hard to see, but level 1, we already have this tower in place. It just changes a little bit. Level 3 is an all new tower. What we're doing right now is we're shelling it out for future use. So it'll actually be our administrative space for now, but all of these rooms are shelled out so that they can be turned into patient rooms in the future. So right now we're adding about 25 additional rooms to the facility to accommodate those overnight stays. Some of you may know we have 19 beds right now, and so our hope is to get up to more of a 50 bed range. So that kind of gives you an idea of our growth there. And you can go to next slide. You can skip this one too. And this is the additional tower. So this is kind of just a closer up. You can skip that. Also more ORs. This is all the purple on this one is all new. So you can skip this one. And that's all I have.
Thank you. That's an
Thank you.
exciting project, or a couple of exciting projects.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samantha. Next up, with Independence Bank, we have Chad Simonson.
Morning. So a lot of people don't know who Independence Bank is, but it's a full service bank that's community minded, community owned, with headquartered out of Havre and branches pretty much across the High Line. So with this move to Great Falls, it's a significant investment and one we're very proud of. Let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there you go. So this property is at the south end of the 10th Street Bridge, and so River Drive and like 9th Street. And it's anticipated to be completed in July. And Fusion Architecture, Guy Tobacco Construction are involved in this project with many other local subcontractors. And the building is 3 floors, as you can see, 16,000 square feet. Once it's open, we plan to have about 12 people employed, but obviously a lot of room for expansion. I think our holding company potentially will have employees down here as well, with everybody's challenges hiring people, especially in rural areas. We see Great Falls as a nice hub for hiring employees that maybe serve the holding company, the system as a whole. True Brew is going to occupy some of the space. They're going to also have walk up, drive up, walk in service. So be a nice little addition. Here's kind of where we're at right now. I think probably most everybody's seen it. Maybe didn't know what it was, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We also plan to give the Trails Edge or River's Edge Trail people access to the 10th Street Bridge with our land purchase and this project. So a very nice addition to the community there. So I think I got, yeah, big deal tomorrow. So let's go Cats.
Thank you, Chad. All right. Next up, we have with Habit MT, Nicole and Tyler Freeling. And they're right here as instructed, and I'm looking the other way.
Good morning. I'm Tyler. This is my wife, Nicole. We own Habit, and I'm going to actually let Nicole take it and run with it.
Great, thanks so much. So as a Montana educator and a Montana farmer, we are very excited to bring a new business to Great Falls community. We are Habit. Like Tyler mentioned, we are a toggery retail space that's focused on the art and the practice of yoga. Tyler and I were first introduced to yoga when we were actually in college as more of a social experiment. And it has since become part of our own attempts at personal wellness, our personal routines for habitual wellness. And we've really benefited from that kind of yoga culture over the years. We're so excited to be bringing that to Great Falls in some capacity. If you go ahead, oh, we're already on the next slide. Great. We'll talk a little bit about who we are as Habit and what we're trying to do in that space. So Habit, conveniently, is an old school English word that was used to refer to someone's apparel or to one's clothing. You would go and you'd put on your habits. Well, that's not exactly why we chose on the name of Habit, though it is quite convenient. More of the common or contemporary connotation that you have with a habit, because we do believe that it's those personal routines of wellness and of mindfulness that are pretty foundational to holistic wellness approach. And we hope that through the space that is Habit, Great Falls community members would find support and encouragement for those pursuits of wellness, for those habits. The comma, you might be wondering, why in the world do we have a comma as part of our branding? A period signifies finality, right? It is denoting that there is something that's come to a close. We love that a comma, what that would articulate for the space of Habit, what we're trying to do there, because structurally in a sentence, it denotes a space for breath, right? It says that something more is still coming. And we truly do believe that all good things should never come to an end, and that includes people's attempts and pursuits for purposeful habits of wellness. We go ahead and go next slide. So in the space of Habit, our intention is threefold. First, we are a toggery, we are a retail space. And in there, we'll have athleisure, apparel, and equipment, all of which is targeted towards supporting movement, bodily movement. Next is guided meditation and mindfulness. So those are provided in both classes and then through our blog, which is the Habitual. The attempt there is to provide a space for dialogue around mindfulness and meditation. And then third, we are so excited to be bringing yoga classes to the community of Great Falls in traditional vinyasa and hot yoga, so we can engage in yoga collectively. Go next slide. Yes, so we are a new build in the community. When you do get a chance to come and visit Habit, you'll walk into an open concept that's shared with MAC, or Montana Apothecary and Compounding. She is up next. But between these two businesses, our attempt is to provide wellness from the inside out and the outside in. If you haven't seen our build yet, we're right down next to Target, down University Avenue. Go check it out there. I'll just wrap up by reiterating. So in the space of Habit, we will be providing both meditation and yoga classes. We are a retail space, so athleisure, apparel, and equipment. Many of those brands, you know, not only are they high quality, but they're also unique to Great Falls. We're attempting to bring a lot of newness here into our town. The community space, Like I said, we hope that community members would find encouragement and support for those pursuits of habitual wellness. And then we anticipate to be able to bring about 5 jobs through Habit to the community of Great Falls through retail, through marketing, and through yoga instruction. So we are always so excited to be involved in the Great Falls community. We're so excited to be here and share this morning with you. We look forward to Habit being part of the community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Oh, do I need some yoga this morning? All right. Next up, Montana Apothecary. We have Shelby Freeling. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Let's see. So my name is Shelby Freeling, and growing up in the Great Falls community, it has always been my mission to be able to go out, leave Great Falls, and then bring something back. With that, in 2010, I left for the University of Montana, and I earned my doctorate degree in pharmacy and studied genetics and pharmacy outside of Great Falls for 3 years. And then with a year of hard work and planning, Montana Apothecary came to fruition. There should have been a slide in between, but that's okay. So it all starts with the problem. It starts with the patient that can't swallow a pill, or it starts with the provider that has a gluten intolerance, or the mass-produced medication that can't serve the general public. And with that, that's where compounding can come into play and personalized medication. At Montana Apothecary, or MAC for short, our vision is a modern apothecary dedicated to self-care. Our mission being to provide patients with unrivaled innovative treatment while maintaining our commitment to patient care and safety. So what is compounding? Compounding has been around longer than probably most of you think. It's been around since the 19th century, and it's essentially customizing medication to meet a patient-specific need. Some advantages to compounding include patients that have allergies to dyes or fillers, and customizing strength for elderly or children, making something into a different dosage form. So something that can be a capsule can be made into a cream or a lozenge or a troche, which is basically a small gummy. Numerous options there. Three kind of daily applications of compounding that will be offered at MAC are hormones, and I'm going to get too scientific because this is the best way to explain it, but hormones are lipophilic. So we have this problem of having a lipophilic substance being soluble into the skin and being administered through a skin. Basically, what does that mean? Hormones can be given through a cream topically on the skin. How cool. You don't have to take a capsule once daily, preservative free, it's efficient. Veterinary, there's a lot of use for compounding in veterinary space. It can act as a protective barrier, such as a dog with a hot spot. It can deter licking and easy. You apply a powder once daily. Children in the autistic space can benefit from compounding. You can apply a gel onto the inner wrist. It's soy-free, it's easy. They don't have to swallow a pill. There's no struggle in medication. At Montana Apothecary, we'll offer compounding as well as retail medication and over-the-counter supplements. With our lab, we'll have two USP 800 labs, which will be state-of-the-art in Montana, and one of the first that we get to bring to Great Falls. With that, our vision at MAC is just to help other businesses be able to continue to grow, and kind of along the same lines as Habit, to have increased wellness and see wellness in our community, bringing 7 new jobs to Great Falls. Thank you.
Fantastic. And if you haven't seen the building, drive by. It's a really neat structure going up there. Next up, we have Farm Power Malt, Ryan Feifel. Morning, Ryan.
Morning. Hello, my name's Ryan. Let me figure this out. Nope, I did not help you. My name's Ryan, born and raised up in Power, Montana on the family farm. Let's talk distilling for a second. Traditionally, distilleries use whatever grew in their areas, what type of spirit they made. That's why you get tequila in Mexico from agave, and that's why you get rum down in the Caribbean because they had molasses. And of course, my favorite, that's why you get Scotch in Scotland because they grew fantastic barley in Scotland. We also grow fantastic barley here, but we can't call any spirit we make from that Scotch because we're not in Scotland. But now we can call it American single malt. Because there's a new federal standard of identity. What is a standard of identity? Think of bourbon. Bourbon has to be made a certain way to be called bourbon. Now there's a new one just established, American single malt. So we're at the cusp of a new industry right now, which is very exciting. My family farmed since 1915 in Power. We don't have much time, so jump ahead 80 some years. I started homebrewing beer in 2001 or so, and I was frustrated that I couldn't turn the barley my family grew into my homebrew because there's a middle step called malting. First, you have to turn barley into malt, then you turn malt into beer or whiskey. So on the bottom there, I made a little machine to make malt. Jump ahead a little bit, got a little crazy. I made a bigger machine. So now I have Farm Power Malt, a company. Currently, we turn our unique grains that we grow into malt for breweries and distilleries. Got a little notoriety. It was kind of fun. It's been fun. Come on, there we go. Nope, I went to. Can you help me go back one? There we go. Nope, there should be a middle one in there. Yes, not. Through malting, I met Lila and Nestor Sinelli. Their pictures should be on the screen right now. They make single malt down in Argentina. Anyway, that's fine. They make single malt down in Argentina, and through malting, I helped them get their malting project going. They are one of the few distilleries in the world that grow their grains, make the malt, make single malt whiskey, put it in the bottles, sell it. Their son, Tommy, which was a nice picture of him right there, should be, came up and worked on my farm this last year, and he's going to be coming up in the foreseeable future to work on the farm. He's been making whiskey his whole life. So hence, now we can go to that last slide. I have malt and I have grain and malt. They know how to make whiskey. Hence, Farm Power Single Malt. Name sucks, so we're probably going to change it. Lots of ideas for buildings, but we want to make single malt in Power, not just because we love single malt, but because our small farming communities are kind of shrinking and failing. And I think one of the best ways to reverse that trend is to make a high quality, top-notch, world-class product. And I can't think of a higher quality, top-notch product than single malt. So this building will let us make malt, of course, or makes whiskey, but we'll also expand my current malting operations. If anyone knows how to pour concrete and put up a building, let me know. Thank you very much.
That was great. I won't say I need some single malt, but I could sure enjoy one later today. All right, next up via Zoom, we have a very exciting project from Montana State University College of Nursing, Susan Luperel.
Hi, everybody. I'm very grateful to be here. I have some slides I think will be run from there. So just for sake of context, I am here representing Montana State University Bozeman College of Nursing. We have a very big football game going on this week, and so with apologies to the Grizz fans, go Cats go. What many people don't know is although the main university is in Bozeman, the College of Nursing actually has additional satellite campuses. So we have 4 additional satellite campuses in Missoula, Kalispell, Great Falls, and Billings. Great Falls is actually the oldest campus. We've been here for 85 years, and we've been welcomed in this community for those 85 years. We've leased space in a variety of different places over the years, at the old Deaconess. For a while, we're leasing space at Great Falls College, MSU. And in a second, I'll show you where we currently are. Statewide, the college has about 600 undergraduate nursing students who are in upper division classes, meaning sophomore, junior, and senior level classes. Here in Great Falls, we have about 102 undergraduate students. These are students who are typically between the ages of 20 and 28 years old. They're outdoors oriented. They're very active in seeking exposure in the community. They go to various eateries, bars, etc. So they really do like to get engaged here. Many are local students or at least in-state students, but we do have quite a few number of out-of-state students as well, many of whom who end up staying in the community to work. We currently here right in Great Falls have 26 full or part-time faculty, and then we also have 2 administrative staff. Next slide, please. We're often confused with Great Falls College, MSU. We have a great working relationship with the nursing program there, but we are a different program. And so currently we are located actually on the Benefice West campus, right near the Peak in building 31, just so everyone kind of understands where we are. Next slide, please. So we at the College of Nursing statewide graduate about 224 graduates a year. We also have an accelerated bachelor's program, which is a very rapid degree path to a bachelor's for second degree students. Those that we put out 80 graduates statewide in that program. Here in Great Falls, we put out 48 graduates per year. And our students, as a part of their clinical experiences, not only serve the community and get their clinical experiences in the major facilities here, Benefice, the Great Falls Clinic, Hospital, Alluvian, the Community Health Department, but we also have our students get experiences all throughout the Northern Triangle. So our students go up to Choteau, to Havre sometimes, to various places all around this area and actually participate in the healthcare delivered. I can't even count the number of COVID vaccines we've given. The college has experienced a 23% enrollment growth in the last 5 years. And so, next slide, please. You may have heard that in August, the College of Nursing was gifted by Mark and Robin Jones $101 million. This is the largest financial gift in the history of the country to any College of Nursing. So we are beyond grateful and beyond proud of that. So next slide, I'll tell you what the hopes are to do with this money. So the vast majority of the funds will be going to build 5 new distinct campuses in each of our locations. Not only will they get a new building in Bozeman, but here in Great Falls, we will be getting a brand new from the ground up College of Nursing satellite building. This will allow us to have state-of-the-art classrooms, state-of-the-art simulation labs, et cetera. And we're grateful. It's my current understanding that Benefice has gratefully going to donate land to us and will be located south of Benefice next to the new medical school. So I can't even tell you how excited we are about that. We'll be developing a nurse midwifery program, which puts out advanced practice nurse midwives. And the goal of that program is to really target our most underserved populations and our most rural populations to try to improve our maternal health outcomes. Statewide, Montana actually has some pretty poor maternal outcomes. We'll be offering student scholarships, et cetera. So the overall goal is by 2030, we will be increasing our number of graduates statewide from 300 to over 400 annually. And then here in Great Falls, we will eventually be up to 120 students. We're refining the curriculum, so we'll be putting out more students in less time. You can see we'll be increasing the number of graduates by 50 to 56 in 2025, upwards of 70 by 2029. Again, these are young, active folks, many of whom then stay and participate in the health labor force in the community. So we're beyond excited. We've been welcomed forever in this community, and we're looking forward to our continued growth. So thanks, everybody, and go Cats.
Thank you, Susan. That's another exciting project that we can't wait for. Next up with NeighborWorks Great Falls, Sherry Airy. Morning, Sherry.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Airy with NeighborWorks Great Falls. NeighborWorks has been a proud member of this community for 41 years, helping create successful homeowners and strong neighborhoods. And so in continuing those efforts and looking at the needs of our community, we are here to present our BATS Block project. And I'll probably hit the wrong button. Which one am I supposed to hit? There we go. So our BATS building renovation. The BATS building is located at 400 2nd Avenue South. It's a historic building constructed in 1913, and it started out as a storefront with 40 apartments or hotel rooms on the 2nd and 3rd floor. It has a very historic history. It was the home of the first cabaret in Montana. And ever since then, it has had a colorful past, and we're excited about bringing it back to life and giving it a strong and positive future by making it a permanent supportive housing opportunity for our community. So this project has been in the works in some form or fashion for the last 3 to 5 years with a variety of community members to help deal with some of the chronic homelessness issues in our community. And we have partnered with Homeward out of Missoula to be the developers of this and have been working with a tremendous group of stakeholders in our community to help devise what is needed for supportive housing in our community to help deal with some of those issues that we have in the downtown area. And what is the linchpin of this project has been the award of some tax credits. Each state is awarded tax credits by the federal government, and the 9% tax credit project is a competitive process through the Montana Board of Housing, which we were awarded in October. Tax credits are one of the most successful ways for private funds to go into creating affordable housing throughout the United States. Our first project was Rockcrest, which we were awarded 4% and 9% tax credits and has been tremendously successful since we brought that to our community a few years ago. So the project details, it will be 3-story. We will be using historic tax credits to keep that historic look of that building and bring it back to life. We estimate having 25 apartments that would be studio 1 and 2 bedroom. And the permanent supportive housing will be located on the permanent supports will be located on the main floor, and we will continue to work with some of those local providers on what those supports would be. We know that the YWCA will be our case management provider. And again, Homeward out of Missoula, who has experience not only with tax credits, but also creating a permanent supportive housing in Missoula, will be our partner in this endeavor. So here is kind of some of the pictures right now of what this building looks like. When you walk through, if those walls could talk, they would tell some interesting stories, but it still has a beautiful grandeur about it. We're excited about bringing that back to life. And those first floor services will be provided in that lower level, and again, continue to try to bring that historic value back. The next steps, obviously we were awarded the tax credits, and we're going forward. We'll be looking for historic tax credits. As currently, we're in the process of putting out RFQs for engineers and architects, and a RFP for our tax credit syndicators. So we're excited to hopefully start construction late 2022, fingers crossed, with completion in 2024. And that is the BATS Block project. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. That's a great project. Okay, next up via Zoom, we have with Karhu Koski, Joel Almeida.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to share our vision about Karhu Koski Distillery. You know, the first thing I always get asked is, what does Karhu Koski mean? And I'd like to take you on a little road trip through history here as we get started. So my great-grandfather came over from Finland back in 1910. And when he came over from Finland, the family farm that he left in Finland was called Karhu Koski. And Karhukoski means Bear Rapids. So we've taken that and used that as our logo. He homesteaded land out there on out on the bench near Vaughan, and raised my grandmother and her 3 sisters. My mother was born out on the farm as well. She went to Great Falls High School. My father was based at Malmstrom. He's originally from Los Angeles. They met at Howard's Pizza and were married at St. Anne's Cathedral. After my dad got out of the Air Force, they moved back to Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, but I spent every summer out on the farm helping my grandparents with any number of farming items and issues to deal with. So my roots are deep and strong in the area. I consider myself to have dual citizenship between California and Montana. I will be moving back up permanently to Montana in the summer. My youngest will be going off to college, and so I will be moving back up. And my brother comes up with me about 50% of the time. So we're really excited about building a facility near Vaughan. We will make, we can go to the next slide. We will be making, well, we'll be building 4 different buildings. We'll be building a distillery and a tasting room. We'll be building a bottling and canning line. We'll be building a ready-to-drink production facility, and then we'll be building a warehouse. So for the bottling and canning line, we have contracted with a global manufacturer of vodka. We're going to be doing their white labeling for them out of our facility. They will be moving their production line from Europe to Montana. We're also going to develop a ready-to-drink production facility for them. And if you're not familiar with what a ready-to-drink product is, it is basically a vodka tonic in a can, or a vodka soda in a can, or a margarita with vodka instead of tequila. So we're going to be creating that for them. Okay, next slide. So as you look at our timeline, we'll have our personal line, which will be Koski Vodka. In 2022, we hope to launch that in the fall. We'll also be creating their white label product. In 23, we're going to come out with a gin. And then in 23, we will also be creating the RTD product for them, which we're really excited about. And then we'll start working on some whiskey products down the road. Those will not be available probably until 27 or 28 at the earliest. So we've got a lot of time. Next slide, please. This is our team. We've got a great team of people. Everybody's been in the spirits industry in one form or fashion. Really excited to be working with all these people. I've worked with everybody in one place or another in my career. So pulling this team together has really been fun. All of them have come up to visit Montana, and they've all fallen in love with it. A good number of these people will be moving up to the area as well to help push this project forward. Next slide. That's it. I'm really excited to be back in the community and to bring some great employment opportunities and really create a unique environment and experience for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. I'm from LA as well. We can have a little club of recovering LA people.
That's right.
All right. So next up with Ewat. Thank you. Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Laura Ewalds, and I'm the owner of Honey Hippo Play Cafe. A lot of people ask what a play cafe is, and we are, there we go. And we're super simple. We're a coffee shop with, instead of bistro tables, we have playground equipment. So it's a place where adults can get together and connect with other adults, where they can bring their kids, burn some energy. And yes, that is the same place that we have in our cafe. Pretty cool. So Great Falls has been my home for the past 6.5 years, originally from Las Vegas. I became a stay-at-home mom when my bigs, who are 20 tomorrow and 18, were about 7 and 8 years old. After moving to Great Falls, about 7 years ago, it was really hard to meet people as a stay-at-home mom, especially when my bigs were in junior high and high school. Mom's not cool. So in December of 2018, we were blessed with our little miracle, Carson, and he's a really smart cookie. And about a year ago, I went to go enroll in preschool, and they told me he doesn't meet the cutoff. So he had to be 3 by September, and he doesn't turn 3 until December, or didn't. So I called my husband and I said, I'm done. So we're opening up this coffee shop playground so other moms, dads, grandparents can get together, meet other moms and dads, and that's how it started. So reached out to the Great Falls Development Authority and was hooked up with Rich Gannon, who helped me develop business plan, gave me lots of homework, answered all my questions, helped me with the basics of my web design, and just constantly kept in touch with me, cheering me on and pushing me forward. Gave me all the tools that I needed to be where we're at today. So anybody who's looking at starting a new business, highly recommend reaching out to GFDA. They're a huge tool and resource. So we found our space at 325 First Avenue North downtown, and instantly reached out to the Great Falls Development Authority, Great Falls Community Development Office, and they were extremely helpful with coming and taking a look at our space, working with our architect on some issues that we had, and even helped us receive some TIF funds so that we could make our facility ADA compliant, and that was a huge help. So we are, these are my kiddos. This is my driving force. So we are days away from opening our space, but we're more than just a coffee shop. So we are geared for kids 6 months to pre-kindergarten. So really geared for those stay-at-home moms and dads, grandparents watching their kids. But we're more than just coffee shop playground. We have teamed up with a new small business that is starting in 2022 as well, called Moonlight Yoga. And she will be teaching a couple of parent and baby yoga classes. That was the first thing that I looked for as being a new mom in a new town, to meet other new moms and get out of the house. We will also offer weekly craft classes, all those messy ones that moms don't want to do at home, STEM classes, music classes, anything that we can think of. We would love to find people in the community to partner with, to come and teach some classes to all our littles. We also do birthday parties. I think it'd be a great place for a baby shower, since most new moms know other moms with kids. So this is us. We are having open house tonight just to keep that momentum going. We've got a great community following. We are, like a lot of new businesses, running behind because of construction delays, shipping delays, and just when I think that we're gonna get open, something else calls and says, well, it was supposed to be there Wednesday, but now it'll be there next Thursday. So we're going to open a house tonight, so come check us out. We're not open yet. We were hopefully being open January 17th, and we'll have a big grand opening in February. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. That's going to be an exciting addition to the community and a lot of fun. Next up, and I do want to mention, we have 100 people online joining us this morning, so let's give them a hand for that. Just a reminder, feel free to get more coffee. There's plenty of food up there, so make yourself comfortable. We have next up with Sustainable Oils, Keith Horton. Morning, Keith.
Hi, good morning. I'm Keith Horton with Sustainable Oils here in Great Falls. We are a camelina company. So typically the first question I get is, what is camelina? That's what it looks like in the field. That's just before harvest. And in each of those little balls, there's about 16 seed. And the next question is, well, what do you use that for? And it's used for oil. What we use it for is for renewable diesel at Sustainable Oils. So who are we? We were founded in 2005. We were purchased by Global Clean Energy. What is Global Clean Energy? It's a renewable diesel refinery in Bakersfield, California. So that's the third question I get is, where does our oil from the farms here in Montana go? It goes to that refinery in Bakersfield, California. What we do is we work with different varieties from all over the world. Just last week, we acquired a camelina company in Spain. So combined with that company's camelina varieties and with our camelina varieties, we now have more camelina varieties than any company in the world. And our North American headquarters just happens to be here in Great Falls, which is pretty cool. The next part of it is, I'm sure everyone has heard about wanting more clean energy. And so we have recently became the first company to get California's lowest carbon intensity standard. You know, when I look at this project, most of your renewable oils come out of the Midwest, be it soybeans or corn. Canola's getting close to being registered, but this gives Montana growers a really good opportunity to participate in that market. What's the difference between camelina and soybeans? It's that carbon credit. And the difference is soybean is it's a food crop. And so you don't get the carbon credits by taking a food crop and making diesel with it, because in theory, you're taking food away from people's plates. With camelina, it's a non-food crop. So you're not doing anything to disturb food production across the world to turn that into diesel. So what's new? November 1st, we opened the Great Falls facility. Many of you have probably seen me with a Cargill hat on. That's the old Cargill facility. We're on the north side of town, just beside of ADF near John Deere. We currently have 8 full-time employees. We'll be at 15 by the end of the year. There's 5 job openings at sustainableoils.com. 2 of those are sales positions. 3 of those are for our research team. We recently purchased 45 acres in Havre, Montana. That's going to be for storage for our farmers. That should be completed by October of 2022, so that the crop that we harvest this year can get out on the rail quickly. From the farming standpoint, you know, what's the advantages? Why would a farmer want to grow camelina versus other things? The biggest advantage is it's super drought tolerant. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows how hot it was this past year and how cruddy it was. The camelina did just fine. It needs about 2 inches of rain to do what it does. So that's one big advantage. The other advantage is you can plant it in March and you're done harvesting by the end of July. So it really doesn't interfere with other things going on the farm. And the farmer uses the same equipment that they would use for wheat or barley to produce camelina. Already covered that. And so what are we looking at for 2022? In 2021, we had 15,000 acres here in Montana. This year, we're wanting 100,000 acres in Montana. That's largely in part due to that refinery in Bakersfield going live in March, and it wants to eat, and we want to feed it. So 100,000 acres is our goal for this year. The long-term goal is 1.5 million acres that will fully feed that refinery with camelina instead of soybean oil. And that's our big advantage here in Montana. And that's all I have. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Keith. That's great. Now, online with IND Hemp, we have Morgan Tweet.
Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you having me on here. Sorry I couldn't make it down to Great Falls today, but I know you got a good crowd and really appreciate the opportunity to join online. So we are another rotation crop similar to Camelina, and I want to share with you the exciting things that we've got going on this year. So I've got a short video I want to show you guys first, if you guys can click that. My name is Morgan Elliott, and I'm one of the co-founders of our family-run industrial hemp company, IND Hemp. In 2018, my dad, Ken Elliott, his wife, Julie, and I launched ourselves into the industrial hemp industry, focusing on what our industry desperately needed: processing. We are located here in Fort Benton, Montana, which has a long, rich history of firsts. As a famous stopping point on the Lewis and Clark Trail, this is the birthplace of Montana, and now it is the birthplace of an industry with the first true scalable industrial hemp campus. We are food, feed, and fiber. What started out just a couple years ago of just my family has grown into a family of over 30 employees, all who are motivated and passionate about making lasting change in the communities that we live in, the soil that we grow in, and the nutritious products that we offer. We call it the goodness of hemp. Well, thank you. I always like to start off with this slide for those of you who are confused about the hemp industry of what we are not. And so IND Hemp, which is short for industrial hemp, we do not process or produce CBD products. So even though we make an oil, it's not the same oil that you guys are seeing in drugstores or at gas stations or anything that you've heard the hype about. So we're much more like the traditional commodity crops that you see, very similar to Camelina as an oil seed. But we can also grow it for a couple different harvestable products. So our products are generally recognized as safe, the grain that comes off of our grain products, and then the straw that we harvest off of our fiber field is also used for industrial practices and is recognized as safe as well. I also like to preface that we're not a flash in the pan kind of company. We're here to stay. We've set roots down in Fort Benton. I recently got married and really feel a part of the community already. And we've been on the warpath to get acres this year. It's a very competitive market right now with commodity pricing. But we really like to instill in growers the holistic approach that hemp can bring to their operation. I think this is a great rotation crop. We always get really good feedback for the growers the year after they've grown hemp. Makes them a more diversified operation, and it's really pretty cool to grow. We've always had a lot of great feedback. So next slide. We have an industrial hemp campus here in Fort Benton, and we have two facilities that are online and processing. Our oilseed facility came online in 2020, where we make those food and feed products. We are food grade. We make products like hemp hearts, oil, and protein. Hopefully more and more of you are familiar with these ingredients and are seeing them on store shelves. These products have been in our country for the last 20 years. Canada has had full legalization for over that time. And so just in 2018, American farmers were given the opportunity to start growing this crop again, and processing is slowly coming online to support that. And then this last fall and winter, we finished construction of our 5 ton an hour decortication line. And so that simply is a process that we take that straw from the field, whether it was residual from the grain field or it was a purpose grown fiber crop, and we separate it into two parts. The constituents are the outer sleeve of the stalk, which is we call bast fiber, and that's traditionally put into your clothing, rope, non-wovens, things like that. And then the inner core, which we call hurd, which has a lot of great applications, animal bedding, absorbents, a lot of other different bioplastics and composites. So we'll be the first US facility online, and we've been in the commissioning phase right now and breaking things and fixing things. But we're really excited. We are adding, hopefully when we're at full tilt, we'll have up to 70 jobs here in Fort Benton. We just added another 6 this coming week. And so growing really quickly. So next slide. So this kind of highlights, like I was mentioning, of what we do in this supply chain. And it really starts with the growers. And we're so thankful to be part of the Golden Triangle and the great network of producers that we have around here. And so we really nurture those relationships. We get them the seeds that they need. We have a full-time agronomist on staff who is, world-class, and he really takes the time to work with each one of our growers, giving them the insight to this new crop. It is a little intimidating to see this new crop, especially the fiber. It's like a jungle. And so it's great to be able to build those relationships. We stay with them all the way through harvest. And then we work on that primary processing. So a lot of companies use hemp ingredients, whether it's the food product or the feed product or industrial products, but they don't necessarily do the process to take it from a raw ingredient from the farm to a finished consumer product. And so most of our business is creating those either building materials or food ingredients to go down to further processing. We do have a few consumer-based products, but most of it is B2B processing. So we're excited to partner with more and more companies. We're hoping that we can entice another company to co-locate with us in Fort Benton in the industrial park that is here, and see more sustainable products coming out of the area. So next slide. And the really exciting thing for us is our fiber facility that's coming online. So that's a field just in Fairfield there. There was actually about 2 to 3 weeks before harvest. And so we got another probably foot to foot and a half of growth off of that crop before we harvested it. So our grower told us a lot of stories about people pulling off the side of the road, getting pictures with it. Just it was a talk of the town in small town Montana, but it really is a great crop. It's bringing a lot of nutrition back to the soil. It has a super complex root structure that helps with soil health. Great rotation crop for guys coming out of alfalfa, or even in the barley communities where they're needing weed suppression. We're finding, unfortunately, more and more resistant weeds out there. And so it's so thick that it chokes out anything else that's out there. And so we're actively contracting. We're taking smaller steps necessarily than Camelina was. We're only contracting about 3,000 fiber purpose grown crops and about 5,000 oilseed acres. But we want to crawl before we run and get this plant up and running. But two of the products that I would like to kind of leave in your guys' mind of what does hemp make, that's kind of exciting. That inner core, we'll be launching a consumer based animal bedding product. And so it may seem like it's a lot of work to just go to a bag of trash, quote unquote, that's going into your gerbil cage, but it's a huge industry. And there's a big need for dust-free and more absorptive products, and hemp fits that bill. And then another really cool thing we talk about with the fiber is those non-woven packages can go into things like car parts. So similar to where Camelina was talking about the sequestration and opportunity, when we can sequester the carbon through our fiber products and then put it into an industrial product, like a car part or something like that, it really shows the life cycle of the carbon, and it's a huge opportunity. So hoping to leverage the carbon credit market with our growers, that they can capitalize on that, and we can optimize the yields and efficiencies on their production. So we're really excited. We open invite to anyone who wants to come and see the facility. If you know where Fort Benton is or been through here, we're the new giant building behind Jim Taylor Motors. And so we're excited to keep moving forward and look forward to the year ahead. So thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you, Morgan. Continues to grow up there. Great job. Next up with Great Falls CrossFit, Elena Baugh. Morning, Elena.
Good morning, everyone. I come here representing our fantastic business. We are building a brand new building just behind Bison Ford. So if you have Bison Ford, and then we have the Sting, and then there's another park right there, and we're next to that, right next to Reeves Eye Clinic. And where's our clicker? Here we go. What is CrossFit? I get this a lot. People have this idea in their mind that CrossFit is this really intense athletic sport, and it is, but it also is something that is a functional movement. So if you go around your activities and you realize you twist a different way, and you reach down for grab something and you realize that you tweaked your back, or you hurt your hip, or you hurt your shoulder, We work with a lot of people in their rehab and their physical therapy. So the physical therapist puts them back into place, and then we strengthen the muscles that keeps them in place right there. So if you see this picture right here, this gentleman is sitting up from a chair, which is similar to what we do with a squat. Squats are an important part of CrossFit. So CrossFit is constantly varied. Our activities of daily living are always changing and always different. Functional movement. So for example, a month ago, I was in San Diego pushing a stroller up at the San Diego Zoo, and the San Diego Zoo is on an incline that is about like this. And my stroller, I ended up weighing it afterwards. It was with my kids. I had 3 kids loaded in there, and I had all the water and all the snacks, plus the weight of the stroller was 150 pounds, and I'm pushing this stroller, and I'm thinking, this is like a sled push at CrossFit. And then lastly, at high intensity, and that is dependent on the individual. We have a wide variety of people that are coming into our CrossFit gym, whether they're an older individual that is looking to more improve mobility and not lose muscle mass, or all the way down the spectrum to young. We have a CrossFit Kids coming out this year. And these kids who are doing CrossFit, we haven't had CrossFit Kids since the pandemic, but prior to, these kids were going out into their athletics, and all of a sudden their coaches are saying, whoa, what happened? All of a sudden they got really strong. And the response that these parents are giving is that, oh, we started doing CrossFit Kids. Our kids got really strong really fast in a short amount of time, and we make it fun. I have 5 kids. My partner has 6 kids. Between the 2 of us, we love children. And we make this interaction and this workout dynamic and engaging for our kids so that they enjoy coming. Oh, we skipped a lot of slides right there. Do you have our video of our facility? Oh, it didn't come through. Okay, so I will describe to you really quickly our new facility. We have, in the last little bit, we have had a lot of growth in Great Falls. During the pandemic, it was challenging. We were founded in 2014, and during that time, we've had 700 members come through our gym. We have an age range from 77 years old. We have a darling little sweet lady. Her name is Miss Patty, and she comes in and she lifts like teeny tiny little weights, and she's magical, and everyone loves her, and she has become a grandma to many of our members, all the way down to CrossFit Kids. So we start CrossFit Kids at age 5 and up to 13, and at age 13, then we graduate them into the more adult lifting strategy. So CrossFit Kids, we're doing hula hoops, and we're doing fun balls and heavy balls, and we're jumping through hoops, and we're playing tag, and we're engaging kids in fun activities that are functional for what they're doing. Our new facility is 6,500 square feet. And this square footage is, let's see. Yeah, it's not going to give it to us. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's our sweet Patty. And this right here this is Caden, and he's 11 here, and he is lifting adult weights. Caden has been lifting weights for quite some time, and his parents are athletes, and they encourage and support him. And here we go again. Okay, this is our, do you have this? Can you play this? Oh, the video didn't come through. Okay, so we are 9 days from opening our new building. So this is what it looks like now, but in 9 days, it will be full of fitness equipment. As we continue to do and to train our individuals here in Great Falls. So as you know, building this year has had its limitations. We've had struggles, we've had supply chain issues, we've had worker issues, we've had myriads of issues. We have been trying to get open for a long time, but there has been some really beautiful benefits that iterates what Great Falls is all about. Number one, our local building supply stores have been phenomenal at helping us out. When I think about Great Falls, we moved here 9 years ago, and I think about the resiliency of the people here. Great Falls takes care of its own. If there's a problem, somebody here is going to work hard to get you help, to get you to get you what you need. And then lastly, we want to thank you for your support. We, in the middle of a pandemic, when we were shut down and looking at each other and thinking, is this going to be able to survive? And in the midst of all that, people are recognizing that their health is a priority and looking for ways to make their health a priority. And in doing so, many people here in Great Falls have decided that lifting weights and strengthening their body is one way that they can do that. And so, thank you, Great Falls. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Elena. Not that you're wondering, but this is the before version. So there you go. Next up, with Alluvian Health, Tyler Manzales. And I have to say something about Tyler. He spent a few years working for the Development Authority and just did an amazing job. So let's give him a big hand. Thank you.
Good morning. As Brent mentioned, my name is Tyler Manzales, and I'm proud to be here this morning representing Alluvian Health as the Communications and Marketing Director. As a former member of the team at GFDA, Ignite was always my favorite event of the year, mostly because of the tremendous momentum that it creates throughout the business community in the Great Falls region. So when I say the words Alluvian Health, I know most of you think that we are the COVID-19 people. And while that association is somewhat flattering, due in large part to Alluvian's robust response to the ongoing pandemic, the reality is that Alluvian Health is so much more. Just a little background, Alluvian Health is a federally qualified health center. Our mission is to create and inspire healthier lives. This has led us to find novel ways to bring healthcare to our patients and also find ways to help solve the economic patterns that keep people in poverty and in poor health, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Alluvian Health at 601 Central. Alluvian purchased the Rocky Mountain Building in 2018 with a vision to provide not just excellent medical, behavioral health, and dental care, but to house all of our services, including employment assistance, food security, and any other physiological needs of our patients under one roof. This is the rendering here. So we're aiming to preserve as much of the historic facade as possible, updating things here and there on the outside, but most of the progress is going to be happening on the inside, which we do not have that rendering for yet. So currently we're in the process of abatement, which began in December of last year, 2021. As of today, abatement is about 65% completed, with an anticipated completion next month, February 2022. The remediation includes, of course, pigeon cleanup, mold remediation, asbestos remediation, among others. Once abatement has completed, we anticipate construction to start mid-April, and that is contingent upon financing, which is already in the process. We expect construction to complete in December of 2023. This project is a massive undertaking, both in scope and financially. Currently, we're looking at a $29 million capital infusion project right here in downtown Great Falls. In addition to the dollar amount, this clinic location will create an anticipated 50 to 100 new high-wage jobs in the medical and related medical fields at Alluvian Health, in addition to increased capacity for patients. So we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the partners that have helped to bring this project to fruition. First, we'd like to thank Schroeder Construction out of Billings as our abatement contractor. We have awarded Sletton Construction, our main construction contractor, Nelson Architects for bringing the vision to life, and of course, Great Falls Development Authority. Without their assistance for abatement, this project would not be where it is at the moment. So once construction begins in April, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be posting regular updates through our social media channels. I encourage you all to follow the journey as the Rocky Mountain Building transforms into Alluvian Health at 601 Central. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. And now, can I get a drum roll? Wow. All right. So we're not the drum corps. Joining us online from Touro University, Dr. Alan Kadish.
Thank you very much for having us here. It's great to get a chance to hear what's going on in Great Falls. If we could have the next slide, please. So I thought I'd begin by just telling you a little bit about Touro. It's now our 50th anniversary. We have over 100,000 alumni, 19,000 students in 35 schools, 5 states, 4 countries with one mission, doing more together. And in our medical schools, we specialize in many of them in training clinicians who are expert in helping underserved communities. And we hope to make that a big part of what we do in Great Falls. The school started in '71 as a liberal arts school, but has expanded rapidly in the last 20 years. Next slide, please. We have, of the 19,000 students, close to 8,000 are healthcare students, including over 3,000 medical students. That doesn't include the Great Falls campus. Over 500 physical therapists, over 250 occupational therapists, over 700, soon to be over 1,000 PAs, 440 dentists, 550 pharmacists, and over 400 nursing students. Next slide. We recently held a groundbreaking ceremony for our new building. Somewhere in here is Eric Sletton from Sletton Construction and Danny, who's our architect. This will be a 100,000 square foot building, which we anticipate will cost, including the fit out, over $50 million. Parallel to this, our partners Benefice are building a 250 bed residential facility to house our students. And we're investing academically in developing the medical school. The total cost of this project will be well over $100 million between our partners and us. Next slide. So what do we expect to happen? 125 DO students, osteopathic medical students in each class, 50 master students each year, which will translate into 550 new students. We're also beginning discussions about adding a physician assistant program, which will take a few years, but we plan to do that as well. We'll have 90 new faculty, earning over $8 million. In addition, we plan to add 50 to 100 new residents at Benefice and its partners. And there'll be an additional impact, economic impact from that as well. During construction, there'll be 278 new jobs, but the economic impact in the 4th year will add 700 or 800 individuals, students, residents, staff, and faculty to the area. And although we haven't done a careful economic impact in Great Falls, when we did a similar project in Middletown, New York, which is about 60 miles north of New York City, the economic impact was $100 million a year. Next slide. More than the economic impact, we hope that many of our graduates, or even most of our graduates, will stay in the States and practice and deliver medical care to particularly underserved parts of the region. And you can see here in this analysis, the analysis suggests we have $290 million of economic impact. Feeding local businesses, taking care of local people, and we hope becoming partners in the community. Next slide. So we're really excited about this project. It's great to be in Great Falls. One of the big challenges we have is housing. And so one of the next things we're going to look at doing potentially is, in addition to our partnership with Benefice for housing for students, work on some partnerships to build housing for our employees as well. So I want to thank most of all John Goodnow and Benefice, our builders, architects, and finally the Great Falls Development Authority, who's been extraordinarily helpful. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you, Alan. We are so excited to welcome you to Great Falls. Everyone we meet with Touro has been so amazing. They're just an impressive mission-driven organization. it's going to be transformational, not only for our community, but I think the northern states across the plains and the West. So very exciting. Let's give him another round.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, next up we have with Eden Feeds, Tom Croft. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. I don't have any slides, so a little bit who we are. Eden Feeds. We specialize in non-GMO, soy-free, corn-free livestock feed. So in the feed industry, you have conventional feeds. They're going to be your lowest quality and your cheapest. They're kind of down here. Then you have organic, which is going to be your highest quality and your most expensive. And so there's really not much to fill that gap in between there for people who can't really afford the organic, but want better than the conventional feed. So that was kind of what we always tried to find to buy. And so there really wasn't much in this area. And we have all these crops. So pretty much 95 to, off pretty much every ingredient we're putting in our feed now is coming from somewhere in Montana, except for our mineral package, which is made in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Montana is just a bunch of really good crops for this. And so our feed is kind of in between there, probably a little closer to organic than conventional, and the price point is somewhere in between there too. So right now we're about 10 miles east of town. We're in the Holtz farm. I don't know if any of you know Ken Holtz, but he's letting us use a 40 by 80 shed on his place. And we're just running out of place. Our sales have been up over 650% this year, so it's really taken off. And I'm getting tired of handling a lot of my ingredients in 5-gallon buckets. So we're trying to get some automation and some grain storage in so I can get my grains by the truckload instead of by the pickup load. And it'll just get us a lot more efficient. And we're hoping that once this project is done, we'll be ready to, by 1st of March, we're hoping it's ready to go. And we're hoping then we'll be able to put out, even with just me working by myself, around 30 ton a week, which would be a big increase of where we are now. Yeah, so for that, we're bringing in some 1,500 bushel grain bins and then some, basically everything will be in a bin, and then we'll get the thing automated. So it'll be in a PLC, and we can make this recipe, and it will make that food or feed. And then we'll still be bagging it by hand. That will be down the road. Then we'll hopefully get the bagging automated too. And the North 40 right now is our biggest retailer. So our goal is we sell directly to customers. If they buy like half a ton or a ton at a time, we'll sell it directly to customers. We don't have a storefront. We really don't have a desire for a storefront. North 40 is our biggest retailer, and that's kind of our goal, is just to wholesale it to stores and just sell it that way. So some people want to thanks. I'm Rich Gannon with Great Falls Development here. He's been incredible with helping us in this expansion. Doug Roberts with Montana Manufacturing, and First Interstate Bank has partnered with us and provided the funding for us, and they've been awesome to work with too. So I think that's about all.
Thank you. 650% growth. Not many people here can top that. That's great. All right, next up with the Wild Hare in downtown Great Falls, Matt Robb.
I fear public speaking, I guess, huh? Yes, my name is Matt Robb. I represent the 518 Central Building, which Carl Heischman used to own, what's now going to be called the Wild Hare, the old lobby bar. Like I said, I think we have a few slides. So that's the building. Everybody knows that building very well. I mean, 106-year-old building. Used to be the Davenport Hotel, turned into the Jockey Club, and then eventually Carl bought it, made it into the lobby bar. We have 2 stories above us that will eventually down the road someday, hopefully be some type of apartments or living area. And then the main floor was the lobby bar and the old Maria's restaurant, as you guys know it. It's actually going to be combined into one space. So the one space will be a bar restaurant. We're excited to announce that Harvest Craft Kitchen and Matt is going to take over our kitchen. So the food coming out of our kitchen is going to be very top notch. So that's going to be a lot of really fun things to see going ahead. For the ladies, we will have a barcouterie. Yes, I made barcouterie. So not a charcuterie, because I can say that word too, but a barcouterie. Who are we? We're three guys. Two guys are from Northern California and one guy is from Los Angeles. We're based in Los Angeles, and a lot of people say, well, you're from Los Angeles, California guys, why are you here? Well, I'll tell you why we're here, because we saw how Great Falls is growing. And not only did we see how it's growing, but then we got here and we met everybody. And the community has been so welcoming, and we're excited to be here. Everybody's been super nice to us, including the city, the mayor, the building departments, all of our building contractors. So when you're coming from Los Angeles, a couple different things. I actually moved from Maui, so there's a little bit of a weather culture shock, I guess you could say. But I was in Maui 7 years. We have a bar called the Dirty Monkey right in Lahaina. If you go to Maui in Lahaina, that's our bar. I came here and I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the people. And I said, okay, I'm not only going to invest in the downtown market, but I'm going to buy property and I'm going to continue expanding throughout the state. So our first project is going to be downtown. What are we bringing? We're bringing a new concept that we believe Great Falls is missing. So, in working together with the other downtown bars and restaurants, including Elevation, Mike at N Bar, Seth and those guys at Mighty Mo, adding something different to downtown that's missing. But at the same time, working together with them to create this kind of synergy in the downtown area. And that's kind of what we're excited to bring. We'll be bringing nightly entertainment. We'll be bringing a great food out of the kitchen. We'll be bringing dancing. We'll be bringing event spaces. So it's kind of an all-in-one place where you can come rent it, have an office party, a birthday party, a wedding reception. But it's kind of in that intimate range where, Newberry and those guys are doing awesome. We were there last night for that Steve-O concert. Wow, that was weird. But what they've done there, LPW and Tim, our architects, Dale Miernick and Detail Construction. I don't know if you guys are members here, but they're doing our expansion. So that's exciting. We're looking at opening around March 1st is what we're shooting for. I guess there's some more slides. I'm being text right now, but I didn't know that. So how do you do this thing? Like that? Oh, there we go. So that's the old space. On the right-hand side is the old Maria side, or it's the old lobby bar side. On the left-hand side is the Maria side. And then this is kind of what it looks like now. So you can kind of see the transformation. We're actually bringing the building back to its original glory as far as the 1930 look when it was the Jockey Club. You can kind of see the difference going on. And then that's the front, the old Maria side on the 518 side. So that's now, it's going to be a tequila tasting bar, cocktail lounge, and liquor store. And then the back will become the entertainment area. So I thank you for your time and have a great day.
Thank you. Very exciting. All right. Thanks, Matt. Next up via Zoom with Farron Realty Partners, we have Tom Korek.
Great. Thanks, Brett. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tom Korek, and I really appreciate being here today. I'm going to cover three things today. One, talk about our project in Great Falls Arc Apartment Homes. Second, from an outside perspective, talk why we think Great Falls is just a great development market going forward. And last, given that we're right in the middle of construction of this large project, I think everybody will be interested. We've heard it a couple times today about some of the supply chain challenges that we're seeing in the development side and in the projects we're doing right now. So very quickly about Farron Realty Partners, we're based in Missoula. We develop Class A apartment projects in tertiary markets in the Intermountain West. That's a pretty narrow market niche. And so if you think about it, we're building upper end apartment complexes in places like Missoula, Bozeman, Billings, Great Falls, Walla Walla, those types of markets. Over 2,000 units over the last 15 years, valued at about $400 million, are either built or in development right now. And that includes 288 units at Talus Apartments, adjacent to the Benefice campus that were built in 2015 and 2017. I'll talk about that project a little bit more in a moment. So ARC Apartment Homes, it's under construction today, about 25–30% done right now on the southeast corner of Division Road and Smelter Avenue Northwest. It's going to be 216 units, 36 or 636 unit, 3-story walk-up garden style apartments, no elevators. It'll be market rate housing. I think the reality is, just looking at projected rents against incomes in Great Falls, it'll actually have a real component of workforce housing to it, which is really satisfying for us. But it'll be a Class A property with full amenities and upper end finishes. So very nice project. Total cost on the project is about $35 million. You know, one of the things we're really excited about is that it's a local project. We have local lenders with GFDA, thanks Brett, and Stockman Bank, and local investors. So the equity behind the project is local as well. First building will be occupied in June and completed. We'll have the project completed early fall, mid-October this year. I would add that rental markets in Great Falls are extremely strong right now. Rents are much better than we projected when we put the financials together before we started. And in fact, occupancy rates for comparable properties today are in excess of 99%, which doesn't happen very much. And we're really excited about this opportunity. I would tell you that when we built the first project in Talus Apartments in Great Falls, back in 13–14, we had a lot of people say, why would you go to a place like Great Falls? If you could flip to the next slide. And, you know, this is a place that was 60,000 people in whatever, 1970, and it's still 60,000 people. And what do you think is going to happen with 288 upper end units in Great Falls? And interestingly enough, we worked with the GFDA on that project as well. And when we met with Brett, he said, you know, my vision for what we need to accomplish in this town is we need to add another 500 units. I assume you remember that conversation, Brett. And when we get done with ARC Apartments, we're going to have built 504 units in Great Falls since 2015. And honestly, we hope to do more in the future. So why Great Falls, and why did we make that bet? You know, maybe before other people were really starting to discover Great Falls from outside Great Falls. And it has all the things we look for in a tertiary market. It just checks all the boxes. It's a great place for people to live. And, you know, we've had 3 projects presented today that were talking about downtown buildings. And I've got to tell you, of all the things that I just admire about Great Falls, is there's a there, and so many communities in the United States today just have no central place, and that the downtown has fabulous bones and tons of potential, and I think it's really going to drive growth. You've got the Missouri River, all the things that go with that, colleges and universities. You've got world-class healthcare. We've seen how many projects today in that space. Great access to the outdoors, an airport. These types of locations attract growth, and we could see that from as we were looking at this opportunity. And we see tremendous growth ahead. We've talked about several of these today. The med school, that is a huge deal, really going to change Great Falls. The Maelstrom ICBM upgrade is another enormous project that's going to bring a lot of people to the community. But I tell you, one of the biggest things we see is Great Falls is an affordable community in Montana, and several of the communities in Montana are really no longer affordable. People want to come to Montana. They have the opportunity to work remotely. And I think Great Falls is going to be the next great place in Montana in terms of national recognition. So we really believe that great things are ahead for Great Falls. Next slide, please. So very briefly, I mean, everybody's seen the headlines recently about supply chain challenges, and I just want to talk really quickly about what we've seen, and other people have mentioned today the challenges they've seen. So when we did our initial estimate in September 2020, when we started raising funding for this project, the construction cost was estimated to cost a little bit less than $20 million. Our estimate today is that will cost about $26 million. If we were to start the same project from scratch today, we'd estimate it would cost about $30 million. So 50% escalation in something like a year and a half, which is pretty phenomenal. Lumber, which you see the chart on the right here, is a good example. It's been $400 1,000 board feet for the last 20 years. It's now ranging between $600 1,000 board feet, and I don't know what the upper end is, but just lumber alone added about $2 million to the cost of the project from under $1 million when we started. It's impossible to get fixed pricing on materials right now, so you can either take it today to get the price today, or you can take it later at a higher price. And if we take it today, we have to store it. And so just to put it in perspective, things we have taken today to lock in the price that we don't need for another several months, we've had to spend $200,000 on storage in the Great Falls area to keep these things until we're ready to use them. The other thing we've seen is there's just a super hot market for projects in Montana, really big increases in labor costs because of real shortages in labor on the construction side, just very challenging to get experienced subs. And I'll tell you, building in Great Falls when it's below zero and you have 40-mile-an-hour winds is a special skill. And we've had plenty of opportunities in December to deal with that. But all these things have really driven inflation on these projects and has frankly slowed things down. You know, the last thing I'll say is everyone is operating at capacity and more. And as long as we see the type of growth we're seeing, I just don't see these supply chain issues or inflation for that matter in material products and labor going away anytime soon. So with that, thanks for your time and letting us be part of the Great Falls community.
Thank you, Tom. Well, that about wraps it up, but we do have one tiny project we wanted to bring in at the end. It's only, well, tiny project, but you'll see about it. We've got Ron Caldwell with Calumet Montana Renewables talking about an amazing project that he's working on, and he's joining us online. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ron Caldwell. I'm the general manager for Montana Renewables. I apologize for not having any slides. I wasn't 100% sure I would be able to be here today with fighting some health issues this week. Well, you know, having the benefit of listening to everybody else's presentations just has really upped my excitement for Great Falls, not only for our project, but for all the projects that have been discussed today. You just get the feeling that Great Falls is on the cusp of some exciting growth over the next 5 to 10 years. Calumet Refinery has been here since 1922, which makes the year 2022 very special to us. 100 years here in Great Falls, being a critical part of the community and the community being a very critical part of our success. Our project, Montana Renewables, is along the same lines as Sustainable Oils. We're going to bring in green bio feedstock in the form of vegetable oils, as well as animal tallows and other waste oils like used cooking oils and distiller's corn oil, and run it through our hydrotreating process to create a highly valuable and high quality renewable diesel for West Coast markets. This project is, we've had a very busy 2021 with engineering and working up the funding for the project. Fourth quarter really kicked off a lot of construction. If you've driven by the refinery, you've seen a lot of tanks being constructed, going up very quickly thanks to some skilled workers and contractors. You've also have seen the skyline change a little bit with demolishing some old equipment to make room for new process units. We're very excited. We've secured a lot of great equity partners in this project, secured a second one to help fund the new hydrogen plant that goes with the process. This will be a green hydrogen plant that'll take some of the green off gas from the renewable diesel process and convert it into hydrogen to sustain the process. We've already have averaged on the order of 120 to 150 construction workers on the at the facility for the last quarter. We will peak out in the July-August timeframe at about 400 to 500 construction workers, helping us with the major construction going on. We have hired upwards of 30 new employees, Calumet employees, to get them trained up for this new process. And we expect to hire some more professional staff as well. So we're excited to have some growth in our Calumet family and provide healthy and high-paying jobs for our Montana young men and women that can take their skills and continue to apply them here in Montana. We are on track, on schedule to complete construction towards the end of 2022. Our first production will come out of the unit at the end of the summer, August timeframe, and we'll complete the rest of the construction that'll get us up to full implementation by the end of 2022. We've had a lot of support from GFDA, from the community, from the county, and from the state. We've seen a lot of support with this environmental project to help drive the nation towards more carbon neutral energy for primarily transportation fuels. There's been a lot of interest in sustainable aviation fuels, and our process will be able to produce sustainable aviation fuels as well. And so we're just really excited for 2022.
Well, thank you, Ron. Just so you know, the project Ron's talking about, we think is the largest investment in value-added ag in state history. So it's a very substantial project. Well, I want to give a big round of applause to all of our presenters who did a wonderful job this morning. Thank you. I want to thank Payne West Insurance for sponsoring us once again and making this all possible. We share a building with Payne West over in West Bank Landing. They're great neighbors as well. So thank you, Payne West.
We are the Montana city that
Most
creates
of all,
opportunities.
I want to, if you could stop that and start it back, roll it back. Not quite there yet. I think it's kind of like the Academy Awards. I'm being kicked off. It's probably Jolene's giving him instructions from home. So one of the things you may not realize is this is going to be celebrating GFDA's 20th year. We got started in 2002, and along the way, I joined in 2006. Along the way, I've heard a lot of things, and I think one of the things that we've learned is don't pay attention to the naysayers who say it can't be done. Because over the years, and I'll just give you a quick rundown, we were told we could never get the private sector and the city and the county and the state working together on defense issues. And we couldn't work statewide on defense issues. And now we have the Montana Defense Alliance. We were told give up on downtown. It's never coming back. We were told tourism could never grow. And now we've had very substantial growth in our number of hotel rooms and occupancy and revenue. We were told you'll never pass school bonds and levies in Great Falls. We were told we couldn't grow manufacturing, and yet we've grown it substantially greater than the national average. We were told we couldn't attract a discount airline, and we've had Allegiant here for a number of years very successfully. We were told we could never be a hotbed of entrepreneurship, that entrepreneurs wouldn't stay and wouldn't come to Great Falls. We were told the west bank of the river, it was too polluted. We would never get it renovated. We were told the city could never develop an aquatics center. That was just a pipe dream. Value-added ag, told many times, you're never going to have more value-added ag in Montana. Told a number of times we would never get a medical school in Montana, let alone Great Falls. Major apartment complexes, we were told you're not going to attract investment in modern apartment complexes. And lastly, our most recent success is we were told we're never going to grow population. And here the census comes out and shows we've grown by over 3,000 people. And we think most of that is just in the last few years. But we're just getting started. I think you can feel the momentum is growing. It gets easier because success attracts success. In addition to the speakers today, we all know there are twice as many, 3 times as many exciting projects that didn't present today. And I got to tell you, we've got a pipeline of projects that haven't been announced that are as exciting as the ones that were presented today. So 2022 is going to be a great year. It's been a tough year for all of us, a tough couple of years, but we've got through it by working together. We've accomplished a tremendous amount over the last 20 years by working together, and we're going to continue work together. Many of you have been involved in an effort that GFDA kicked off in the fall, thinking it's time to develop a new strategic plan for economic development. So I want to thank you. We've wrapped up our SWOT analysis phase. We're in the analytics phase right now. We've commissioned a number of studies. We've got the housing market assessment that we're about to release. We've got a COVID industry by industry impact report we're about to release. We already released the childcare market demand, and we've had entrepreneurs step up in response to that to open and plan to open more childcare facilities, which is very important. So we're in the midst of that strategic planning process. I want to thank GFDA investors that fund everything that we do. I'd like to thank our board. Could our board members who are here stand up? Our board chair, Mark Masick with Masick Properties. Joe's been on the board quite a long time. Glenn, Ted, Sherry, Lynn, Heidi, thank you all. Let's give them a round of applause. Brian, they donate a lot of time. We just had a great board meeting yesterday morning where we voted to put together a very significant incentive package for another manufacturer that we're a finalist for coming to town. We are out there aggressively pitching Great Falls. We're going to be at Startup Grind in Silicon Valley. We'll be at the Advanced Bioeconomy Leadership Summit in DC. We'll be back at the International Council of Shopping Centers in Las Vegas. We'll be out on the road pitching Great Falls. But most importantly, we'll be working with all of you to help local entrepreneurs, developers, existing businesses to start up, to grow, thrive, and prosper. I do want to try to show, and this is a last minute thing, this is a video that we're using to pitch Great Falls, just to give you an idea of what we're doing.
We are the Montana city that creates opportunities, that offers affordability, ease of living, and authentic Montana character. We're a global food and agricultural production city. We're an advanced manufacturing city. We're a back office operations and headquarters city. We're an entrepreneurial city. We're the base camp to explore Montana's great outdoors. We're a proud Air Force city. We're a tech city. We're a healthcare, education, sports, music, and arts city. There's more to our damn city than you'd expect. For a manufacturing company, this is a place for high productivity and low operating costs. For a food or bioproduct company, this is a place with access to world-renowned agricultural resources. For business operations, this is a place with hardworking, dependable, skilled workers. For an entrepreneur, this is a place to create, innovate, and thrive. For all of us who live here, this is a place where the doors are open to untame your spirit and truly live. Together, we're building the best place to open, expand, and innovate. We're focused on your long-term success. Together, we are Great Falls, Montana.
So I want to remind you to please don't let the food go to waste. But before we go, I want to invite the GFDA staff up here. So staff, come up on stage so people online can see you. Thanks for sticking with us this morning. The reason I want to bring them up is not only to recognize them, but they're here, we're here to help you. So we have on our business development team, we have Jake Clark, we have Christian Leinhauser, we've got Justin Locke. So Jake is our head for working with existing businesses. Christian leads our downtown efforts in partnership with the Downtown Partnership Business Improvement District. Justin joined us to focus on value-added ag processing. And Jolene is online, who heads our overall business development efforts, does business attraction, as well as works on key projects. On our lending, we do gap and bridge financing and brownfield cleanup financing. We have Jill Colas. Oh, there you are. Jill heads up our lending. Stacy Campbell and online Michaela Turnquist. So if you need, if you can't get everything you need, we push the banks and credit unions to do everything they can, and then we come in and fill in behind them. If you need help with government contracting or to expand government contracting, our Procurement Technical Assistance Center, Lillian Sunwall runs that. She also runs our Brownfield Assessment Program. We're offering free Brownfield assessments throughout the county. She's assisted by Shannon Clancy, who is online today. For small business or really any size business, strategy, planning, market research, financial projections, an array of things. Jason Nitschke, who is online, takes the lead on that. He is assisted by our rural business advisor, Rich Gannon, who got a couple of good plugs from clients today, which was nice. And most importantly, so to keep us all going, because you investors pay for everything we do. Jen Gallmeyer. Jen will be at blocking the doors. She is our investment director. No, honestly, thank you, because we couldn't do anything without your financial support, as well as your support on projects. So, and lastly, but most importantly, because she processes payroll and as well as many other things, Jana Williams is online. She is our accountant, office manager, HR, office equipment. She does everything for us. So thank you, Jana. So let's go out there and have a fantastic 2022. Join us back here in next January, and hopefully we'll have 50 presenters. If we do that, we will have an intermission. We are going to have an event. We haven't set the date yet, but we're partnering with NeighborWorks Great Falls Realtors Association. I saw Katie. We're going to wrap in the home builders. We're going to release this housing study, and then we're going to have a housing production mini summit in late February or March. no surprise, the housing market demand study shows that there are tremendous opportunities to make a lot of money by producing some large-scale housing projects in Cascade County. And then we'll have the Fire Within event. We're bringing that back to celebrate all of you female entrepreneurs and business leaders. We'll be doing that this spring. We'll have an event with our investors and partners introducing the new strategic plan in June when we're through that process. And then we'll be back again with our downtown Invest Downtown event next fall. So I hope you can join us all for that. It's supposed to be 43 degrees today, so be careful when the slush freezes again tonight. And let's go Cats.